Hey, Renter Retires, it's Adam Schrader here with another episode, and I am joined by one of our builders, Mark. He is bringing us some new builds out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we wanted to talk about the markets, wanted to talk about his inventory, and just get you a feel for, why this area is somewhere that's worth considering, somewhere that's worth looking. So, Mark, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Adam. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So, you've been in Tulsa for a while. You've been building for a while. Tell us a little bit about why you are investing in Tulsa. Like, you could be, you're a builder. You could move and build anywhere. You could do whatever you want. So why Tulsa?
Well, Tulsa, couple reasons. I mean, number one, it is my backyard, so accessibility. But more importantly, if you look at other places across the country, you look at other markets, we are highly ranked on the affordability scale. We're not one of the hyper markets. We're what we call, I guess, tertiary or cash flow markets. Like our price points and our rent rates are very conducive for cash flow. And we're also a very strong and stable job market. We have a lot of oil money. We have a lot of aviation, and American Airlines is headquarters here, Williams, and a lot of these big oil companies. We have a lot of tech companies, communications. But we have a lot of job growth here. Then so you combine the affordability and the job growth, and we had a steady rental market, I guess is the way you'd say that. Like, we've never had our rentals go empty or stay empty. Let me rephrase that. Like, people move in, people move out, but we never have trouble turning them over and getting people back in there. I've been investing in the Tulsa market for 20 years. I've owned rentals and managed more rentals for about 14 years. And we've had hundreds of rentals of our own. So this is the market that we work and play and we live in. Like, this is where we're vested. Tulsa is growing as far as population wise, and I have gone as far as to integrate myself very closely with the city of Tulsa. We have what we call affordable housing shortage, and affordable housing is relative, not like subsidized housing or Section 8 housing, but, affordable housing is what the general portion of the population or the average portion of the population can afford. Workforce, entry-level housing, not your high-end custom, not your $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $1 million houses, but typically we're looking in that that rent range of $1,500 to $2,000 on rental units, and you're looking at $200,000 to $300,000 in purchase price. So we work very closely with the city of Tulsa to help fill the housing needs. We have basically an endless supply of demand for our product. Like, as soon as we put it out there, we get them sold. As soon as we put them out there, we get them rented. So we're not, hyper markets like you see in Dallas or California or East Coast. We're very much in the middle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about, you mentioned homes aren't 300, 400, 500,000, at least, on the affordable side. So you are building primarily right now duplexes. Tell us a little bit about the duplexes you're building. You mentioned the job market there. Tell us who the tenants are again there. Like, in general, what kind of trades are they in? What are the big companies in Tulsa that drive the growth?
So we build the same basic model. We look at the housing demands. We build 2, 3, and 4 bedroom single family and duplexes. Our bread and butter is the duplexes, and we like the 2 units and the 3 2 units. We do that Well, a lot of that has to do with it being small multifamily. It actually, when you pencil out the returns on the rent and the ROI, it looks better on paper than a single family. The single family houses, you're looking in the 230 to 260 range, and you can get the duplex in the 360 to 400 range, and you're basically getting double the rent for not quite double the price, because you're able to rent out two sides. So your ROI looks better than what it would be versus a single family. We do single family and we do rent single family, but we also do a lot of retail to single family. So there's a mixture of both. Our tenants, we see a variety of tenants. We're very strong in the aerospace. We have Spartan School of Aeronautics. We have, we do some student housing with Spartan. We have American Airlines headquarters here. So we see a lot of people that are coming in. We have oil money. There's Tulsa has been the oil capital for 100 plus years. So we have a lot of oil, and that goes kind of through waves depending on what gas prices look like. But it has been very consistent because we have large oil companies that are headquarters here. We have a lot of tech and a lot of manufacturing. We are fairly central, and we have the Arkansas River and the Port of Catoosa. So we have a lot of manufacturing. We have a lot of these big plants. Amazon's here. Costco moved in. Whirlpool built the plant. They're constantly bringing in these large employers. I have to go actually probably look at the list, but we have a variety, diversity in our employment.
Yeah, and especially, we're talking rent rates, just so people know, in these duplexes, we're talking rents somewhere in like the $1,400 to $1,600 a month range, on average, and all of those places are paying their people well enough to, afford that as they come in. They're not having to go into the $800-900 a month rent to get it. They're easily able to attain these rents.
Hey everyone, it's Zach Master, CEO of Rent to Retirement, the nation's leading turnkey investment company. Over 800 of our investors have already joined the Rent to Retirement Academy, where they've learned how to buy their first or next investment properties in 90 days or less. Academy members are averaging 4 properties per year using creative strategies to fast-track financial freedom. We teach you everything you need to know to be a successful investor from A to Z, including private lending, short-term note strategies, how to protect your assets, how to maximize tax benefits, everything you need to know to help you maximize your returns across the board. Plus, Academy members become immediate referral partners where you earn up to $1,000 per property that your referrals buy for life on every investment property purchase from all of your referrals. Last year, we paid over $160,000 to our top Academy referral partner. Our Academy enrollment is closing after the next 20 signups, and right now there's an exclusive 50% discount only available for the next 5 days. So to learn how you can join our exclusive Academy program today to fast track your success, click the link below and we'll see you on the inside.
Now, some people think single families, they want 4-bed, they want 5-bed. You want to have the ability for the family to move in and for the family to grow. You told me some really interesting numbers about Tulsa that kind of threw that all out of whack in a lot of ways. Tell us a little bit about why you're not focusing on the 4 beds and up properties.
So historically, we've always done 3, 4, 5 bedrooms, the larger spaces. A good reason or a good portion of that is, historically, I've done a lot of Section 8, I've done a lot of subsidized housing, and we get paid by the bedroom. The more bedrooms we have, the more rent we get. But, now that my involvement with the city of Tulsa, I'm on the developers roundtable, and we were in the housing study, and we were at a convention, a month, 6 weeks ago. And, they did the housing study, and the statistics show 65% of the households in the city of Tulsa do not have children. And 75% of the demand is for 1 and 2 bedroom units. And we're also looking at, a larger portion of our populations are adults and, the aging group. And, and then you also have the millennials and the younger generations who are not having kids as early as they used to. And not having as many kids.
Yeah. So what's you mentioned, 65%, 75%. So what, like whenever it comes to the demand, is there an idea Did they say an idea of kind of how much pent up demand there is that isn't being fulfilled?
They, as of this moment, and over the next 10 years, they want 13,000 units. Actually, 12,950 units is the number they have. So they want 1,295 units per year for the next 10 years. Currently, they are getting in between 500 and 600 building permits in the city of Tulsa. Now, this isn't the suburbs, but this is, the Tulsa city limits. So they're getting almost just under half of what their demand is. And so that's one of the reasons why we shifted. And my background is in remodeling. We've been doing I own a construction company. We've been doing remodels or rehabs and doing flips for 20 years. And we've been doing the BRRRR, where we go in and rent, buy, rent, renovate, remodel, rent out, refinance. Literally done it hundreds of times. I mean, I've done close to 700 remodel and or new construction in the city of Tulsa in the last 20 years. Over the last 20 years, we've done, close to 700 remodels, new construction. Right now, we're heavily focused on new construction because of the demand. Like I said, we can't build them fast enough. We are increasing production to be able to help support the housing needs here locally. So I'm working with the city, working with the local community to increase our housing production. And then we're also working, with investors, with you guys specifically, with Rent to Retirement, providing, quality housing for our community, but also providing quality investments for our investors.
Yep.
So, and we are, because of our breadth of experience, we build it. We're completely turnkey. When we build it, we warranty it, we manage it, we maintenance it. We can handle the whole thing. And a lot of other turnkey providers kind of piece things together, whether they outsource the management or they outsource the maintenance. But since we own the construction company, we do our own property management. We bolted on to where we can manage these for other people. So we really handle the whole process. And, part of that is to help with our investors. The other part of that is to also help with the community to make sure, because we, one of the things that we noticed and, problems that we've had over the years is out-of-state investors who come in and buy that early aren't acquainted with the community or in the area and, aren't hands-on with the investment just simply because they're not able to be. So we kind of bridge that gap where, we're here and we are working, we're taking pride in our product, but we're also making sure that, things are maintained and things are kept up. So we're not having some of these blighted properties that are neglected properties from out-of-state investors because they don't have the ability to manage them from afar. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Why settle for mediocrity when your portfolio could thrive with industry-leading expertise? At Rent to Retirement, we're fans of BAM Capital, a company dedicated to creating real, tangible value for investors. They handle everything from acquiring high-quality assets to expert property management, so you don't have to worry about the details. Their hands-on approach means every step is meticulously managed to deliver strong results and ultimate peace of mind. Whether you're new to investing or looking to diversify, BAM Capital offers smart solutions targeting long-term success. Learn more and invest confidently at bamcapital.com/RTR. That's BAMcapital.com/RTR. Investors, deals are out there, but only if you can close fast and structure them right. That's why BLUPRINT Home Loans and Rent to Retirement join together to give you an edge. We're helping investors win deals with exclusive rates in the low fives, lightning fast pre-approvals, flexible DSCR and short-term rental loans, and cash-out strategies to fuel your next purchase. Want to move faster than the competition? Call 888-343-1043 or go to the link in the show notes to connect with the BLUPRINT Investor team. Go lock in your next win. I do want to state one thing before we move into the property management side a little bit, and that is these properties currently, now this is always subject to change, especially in today's ever-changing real estate market, but these properties actually, one of the great things about them is that we are selling them under market value or at market value with incentives. It's one of the things I love is that the market value for the duplexes is somewhere around 370, 375, and but you need less than that to be happy on your side. And so we're giving ten to $15,000 to the investor to buy rates down or get cash back and do all of these things. All so many things the investor can choose from. I really love that you're doing that for the investor because hey, everybody's looking for a better deal and a better deal and a better deal. So thanks for thanks for being willing to do that for us.
And I mean, I love money and I would like to have more money, but I'm also an investor. I'm also a buy and hold investor, and I understand the performance. I understand the long-term return on investment on these deals where, yes, we could swing for the fences on every deal, but it makes more sense to us to work, offer the incentives, get the rate, because we've all feel the pain of inflation. We all feel the pain of rates increasing, and the way that we invest is different than what it used to be. I remember when we were to easily live off a cash flow of your rentals, and today you have to get creative and you have to buy down the rates. You have to do a 30-year DCR. Like we're having to do things differently than what we used to make the equation work like it used to. So, but we want our investors to be successful. We also want our investors to be, repeat customers because, the idea, one property is not going to make you rich. It'll make you a little bit of money and it'll provide you some tax shelter and long-term wealth creation. But, really to make this worth your while long-term, you've got to stack your units, and you have to, if you think about it, if you buy one, yeah, you're going to make a little bit of money and you're going to have a little bit of equity. You buy two, if you buy one a year, come to the end of 10 years, I mean, at the end of 5 years, you have $1 million in assets. Actually, not even that long. I think it's 3 years. You have $1 million in assets. By the end of, I think 7 years, you have $1 million in equity, and then you get 15 years out, you have the potential for $1 million in cash. If you follow it correctly. I mean, this is where rent to retirement comes in and really can help you to navigate the landscape of how to get to where you want to go. But you need more than one unit. You've got to do repeat. So it makes sense to us to offer the discount to give you the incentive so you're successful. So you're wanting to go into your next one.
Yeah. So let's dive in. You mentioned you're the vertically integrated here. When it comes to the property management side, what are y'all seeing in terms of tenant retention, in terms of rent growth and those kind of things? What have you seen historically? Maybe not necessarily in the last 1 to 2 months. I imagine you probably don't have all the data for that, but just kind of historically, what have y'all seen on the management side?
So we've always believed in construction and management that people believe it deserve a nice, safe, quality place to live, regardless of economics or environmental circumstances. So what we've noticed is we make our units nicer. And this is another reason that we've really have leaned in on new construction. New is better for a lot of reasons. You have reduced your maintenance costs. You don't have the capital expenditures or any major capital expenditures for the first 5 or 10 years. Everything is new. You don't have, a lot of your components are still under warranty. So, but new construction also attracts a better quality of tenant. You get you get higher rent. They rent faster for more money, and people tend to stay longer. More often than not, I don't have the exact number, but it's more than 60%. I don't think it's quite somewhere between 60 and 80% of our leases renew and people stay. Because, for the amount of money that they're paying for rent, they're not going to go find something nicer. I mean, there's not a lot of nicer options. You can go and you can find something cheaper, but you're not going to get the same quality as what you have in our either remodel and or new construction. But, new construction, we have a high tenant retention. Now, a lot of that also goes into the quality of the qualifications going into it, and making sure that that people have the job stability, the rent, and the income requirements. They don't have evictions. They don't have violent or sex crimes and things like that are going to be creating issues down the road.
Yep. So in terms of rent growth, do you have any kind of numbers or estimates that you've been seeing over the last, however
So
long you want to look at?
we we're in Oklahoma and in the Midwest in our market. We have we're very steady appreciation. So we're not going to have dramatic increases. We're also not going to have dramatic drops. So we're pretty slow and steady. You can expect on average 2 to 5% a year on an ongoing basis. And there has been some exception to that rule. I mean, during COVID, things went up substantially, but then they kind of level back off to where they should be. But being conservative, a 2 to 3% rent increase a year, a 2 to 3% value appreciation a year. Not saying that you can't get better than that, but I wouldn't bank on it. But you can count conservatively those numbers. Aggressively, you can get 5 to 8%. But at the same time, we figured out that the smaller incremental increases on rent, if you raise the rent $25, $50, people aren't going to move. You go in there and raise it a couple $100, they're going to look around.
Yeah. That's what I always tell people. If you raise your rent $20 a month and your tenant moves out, probably didn't want that tenant to be to begin with. Hey, real estate investors, want to add serious cash flow to your portfolio without buying another building? It's time to look underground. Oil and gas working interests and mineral rights offer powerful income potential. Think mailbox money like rent checks, but from energy production. No tenants, no repairs, and best of all, major tax advantages. It's like owning a high-performing asset, only it pumps revenue instead of collecting rent. If you're looking to diversify with real, tangible assets that work while you sleep, oil and gas might be your next big move. Want in? Visit ECKARD.io/RTR. That's ECKARD.io/RTR to learn more and connect with an experienced team of oil and gas experts with decades of industry experience. Attention landlords, are you prepared for this year's peak rental season? If not, AVAIL is here to help you succeed. With AVAIL's comprehensive rental analysis reports, you can set a competitive price informed by detailed market analysis, including pricing trends and local demand. Find great renters quickly through easy-to-create online listings that are syndicated to 20 top rental websites. Review prospective tenants' applications online and screen instantly with TransUnion credit reports, background checks, and eviction history, all at your fingertips. Need a lease? AVAIL offers lawyer-reviewed templates specific to your state, ready to be signed online. Plus, streamline your rent collection by accepting payments through your tenant's preferred methods, ensuring everyone stays on track. Make 2025 your best rental year yet. Visit avail.co/rent to retirement today and get AVAIL Unlimited Plus for free for your first month. That's avail.co/rent to retirement. So let's go in a little bit. You mentioned some of the qualifications that people are looking for, having the money. What are the tenant screening? What is the tenant requirements that y'all have as a management team?
Well, I mean, we do background checks. We don't automatically disqualify for everything, but violent crimes, drug dealers, sex crimes, you're out. No evictions. If you didn't pay the last guy, you're probably not going to pay me. And then I look at income. Income is 2.5, 3 times the rent, and then job stability. Like if you're changing jobs on a fairly regular basis, it's not going to cut it. Credit score. We look at it, but it's not a determining factor, because if you had good credit, you'd probably buy something. Now, the other side of that is if, the down payment and the commitment involved. But, we look at credit, but I'm more concerned with your income and your job stability.
Okay. Fantastic. So as we kind of reach in here, one thing I want to touch on, I want to go back to the builds. Tell people about kind of the finishes that are put in this. Like, are we talking hard flooring everywhere? What kind of countertops are we talking about? Run us through that a little bit.
We've learned some lessons over the years. Like, I've always believed in hard surfaces in the common areas. We used to do carpet in the bedrooms, and then we figured out, we're having to change out carpet every couple tenants. Like, it just becomes an endless cycle. Like, every time or every other time somebody's moving out, we're cleaning carpet, we're changing carpet. So we have converted to completely hard surfaces. We do the luxury vinyl plank all the way through. It's a nice, solid, even feel throughout the unit. And also people have the ability to put down rugs if they want something softer, especially in the bedrooms, but we don't have to replace it. It's, I say virtually indestructible. I don't think anyone has destroyed it yet, but I put nothing past people and or animals. It is much easier to clean, and it saves you on turnover cost, turnover time. We use granite and on the countertops because of durability. Again, it's a little bit more than, if you went with the Formica or the laminate that we used to, but again, it doesn't get broken. You don't have to replace it. You don't have to fix it. It's more durable and it's longer lasting. Typically we'll do a fiberglass tub and shower insert in the hallway, and then a walk-in tiled shower in the master bath. And of course, ceiling fans and, blinds and energy efficient. We do spray foam insulate on all of our products, which the spray foam there's numerous benefits. It adds to the structural integrity of the property. And it's also soundproof, which is one of our big reasons on the duplexes, because we will, not only insulate the exterior, but we insulate the interior firewall, so you're not hearing your neighbor so much, which has been a big benefit with our tenants. But we do total electric, so we don't have gas issues. We don't have gas appliances. We do everything electric, and we do it combined with the spray foam insulation. They're very energy efficient, and then of course we use the argon, the windows. So we're trying to minimize utility bills and the longevity of the unit.
Fantastic. Well, before we wrap up here, is there anything else that I haven't touched on that you feel is important for investors to know about either your builds or your management team or Tulsa in general?
Nothing that strikes off the top of my head. Anyone that is considering investing in the market or and looking at our product, I'm happy to jump on a phone call or a Zoom. We can, walk you through if you have any specific questions. Definitely take a look at Tulsa. We are a growing market. We have a stable job income. We are affordable, and, depending on which study you read, we rank in some of the nicer places to live as far as affordability is concerned. And, just do a little research on it, and you'll see that this is a good market to invest in. And then, we provide a turnkey product that is designed for, investors to minimize their, what's the word I'm looking for? Their headaches, or, to maximize their investment with minimum complications.
All right. Well, fantastic. Well, if you want to see these properties that we're talking about, head on over to renttoretirement.com. That's renttoretirement.com. You will see the duplex right there on the site. You can just click over to the inventory tab and see everything we're talking about. If you have any other questions that you want me to ask Mark, or if you want Zach or myself to answer in future episodes, or if you want to come on and tell your investing story, email podcasts@renttoretirement.com. That's podcasts@renttoretirement.com. Of course, schedule a time to talk with us at renttoretirement.com about the opportunities, or reach out to your RTR rep to learn more. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today and learning to educate yourself. Talk to you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching the Rent to Retirement YouTube channel. Check out some of our other videos, like this one, or this one here.